This is your boy Big Cal, and this is MP, also known as True Masculinity Podcast. Y'all can come on in here, tap on in here with me, hit that like button, subscribe, have us a good conversation this morning. It's a blessed and beautiful day. We're gonna continue to keep it on the road, be progressive, be provocative, be entertaining, and all of that such, man. So let's come on in here, have a good conversation this morning. And let's turn up, man. Go ahead and let y'all pile in here. Get my day started. Oh, let's go. Thought I know that the devil is a liar. We're gonna see if we can get this algorithm popping this morning. We're gonna see if we can get this algorithm jumping. It's a decent time. I'm going to take this Bluetooth off for just a second, so hopefully y'all can hear me clearly. Turn some of this heat on down in here, turn this air down. Just want to have a brief conversation, man. As I said, we all know about Coach Sherrone Moore being taken behind the woodshed. As you can see my thumbnail, we got Pulp Fiction, we got Bing Rames from Pulp Fiction. Anybody that's up on some of this, anybody that's, from America may remember that movie, fired as Michigan football coach. Yeah, man. It's a bad story going on, man, right now, man. Horrible story going on. See if we can get some folks in here that actually want to have a conversation this morning. Got old buddy looking straight clownish, straight buffoonish, making a spectacle out of this man. Well, really, he made a spectacle out of himself. His actions were, no better words, deplorable. Just a horrible depiction. Horrible depiction, horrible example that he portrays to any of his student athletes. This is a horrible situation all around. Charged with stalking, home invasion. The details of the story is very disturbing, to being honest. Definitely crashed out over the snow bunnies. No hate to those that choose to do what they do. Get this swirl on. It's all love out here. Love is a beautiful thing, you dig. Definitely not one of those Umar Johnson types that's gonna demean the man for who he chooses to marry and lay down with. Me, that's a personal decision. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of them guys. Shannon Sharp, all these guys get too into that racial, idolatry and political stuff. I've never seen him do anything derogatory toward his own kind or be, self-hating and nothing like that, man. It just, it is what it is. But this story has to be talked about. We got to get to it. Got to get to the nitty gritty. Hit that like button if you're jumping on in here. Man, yes sir. It's just a startling situation that a man would throw everything that he's created for himself away over a piece of poontang, man. Hella troubling, man. The man would throw away all his career accolades, achievements, all of this, man, just for a piece of the poo nanny, man. A piece of the snow bunny poo nanny, man. So, hey, man, it's a wild day out here in these streets, man. Wild day. And like they said, it was unknown to me, but I just got details that he's a Caribbean tether. Did not know that. It's not very applicable, but it's not surprising, to crash out like this. We've seen guys crash out before, but this is just emotional, and it's not of the culture, so it's not surprising that he's a Caribbean tether, to be honest with you, man. Hit that like button if you're jumping on in here. We'll jump on, watch some of these videos. He was arraigned and fired as the head coach of Michigan, man. A high profile position in college athletics. And yeah, me personally, being a former collegiate football player, athlete, linebacker, I never really liked Sherrone Moore as a coach. I feel like some of the ways, some of his antics, the crying, just the energy, it felt very contrived. It just did not feel natural. It didn't flow naturally. His natural ability to lead men, I just never believed in him. I never believed in the facade. I felt like it was all a facade. You look at the guy's face, just the way he moved around, the way he talked to the pundits and the reporters and stuff. It just looked very put on, and I can't trust coaches like that. I like the Urban Myers types, Lane Kiffin types. I like guys that are relaxed and straightforward. I don't like a guy that seems like he's brown nosing and trying to smooth the media. I don't like guys that seem like they're trying to please the media. Like, that's just, to me, it seems very spineless. Kind of like what he did with his lady, busting in her house, getting kitchen knives, butter knives, putting it at his neck, and like he's gonna unalive himself, things of this nature. Just very punk, very dweebish, very weak. To be a football coach, you're trying to impress upon young men character, leadership, morals, standards, things of this nature. Your actions are everything, literally everything. You're a married man with kids, and you chose what you chose. I'm not gonna sit here and play the higher moral ground at all. Men make mistakes, and that's just facts. But the actions after you were fired, after you were let go because this lady corroborated the evidence and whatever, it's a lot of things that's getting unpacked right now about this whole situation. DoorDash, Plan B pills, pregnancies, outside pregnancies, things like that. Like I said, he's married, already has kids, but children outside of his marriage allegedly with this lady. She was impregnated. There's a lot of wild stories that's coming forward, and right now about this whole situation. So, like I said, if you're coming on in here on True Masculinity, man, I welcome you. If you're a first-time viewer, I welcome you. Hit that like button. We just like to have conversations here. Nothing's really off the table. We're just working forward with this content creation. Just trying to continue to build the following that we know we can build. So I'm gonna click on one of these videos. We're gonna hear some of these details, and yeah, man, just stay tuned. We're gonna talk about it.
Do you have any comment on Sherrone was fired at Michigan?
Still processing that. Heard that Chad Jessup told me, one of our equipment guys, when we were coming off the field on Thursday.
Harbaugh, one of the ones getting neck from the girl too. Yeah, he about to come up next on him. Nah, let me stop. Hey.
So still processing that, like a lot of people, I'm sure.
Los Angeles Chargers coach Jim Harbaugh, in disbelief, speaks out for the first time after the arraignment of former Michigan head coach Sherrone Moore, Harbaugh's successor. Harbaugh has a long history with Moore. He brought him in on staff at U of M back in 2018 during his own run, leading the Wolverines.
Oh, so this your man's. This your man's.
Good evening, I'm Brandon Hudson. There were some tense moments in a Washtenaw County courtroom as Moore was charged for breaking into his ex-girlfriend's home hours after he was fired. Fox News' Dave Kinchin followed today's events. He joins us in Ann Arbor. Now that we have a sense, Dave, of what has happened here, how is this playing out with a lot of people on U of M's campus?
Well, good evening. This has been...
It's just a horrible black stain on this man's reputation, man. Self-inflicted, of course, as you can see in the title, self-inflicted butt breaking of Sherrone Moore, man. So what do I mean by butt breaking? Precisely like I said, and it's self-inflicted. They're publicly just, destroying this man's reputation and character, and it's like I said, he's complicit in it. He's definitely complicit. He definitely committed crimes. He broke into the lady's house, You know, just so very, just a lack of character. Now, that's one of the biggest things that I would like to just get through to the folks out here watching, man. Just a complete lack of character, lack of control, self-control, lack of awareness. You know, just, you know, it makes absolutely no sense as a man to conduct yourself in this nature. I don't know what he thought he was going to accomplish. I just do not understand the thought process between a married man breaking the law by breaking into a woman's house, and I guess the trauma of being fired and let go by the, you know, program bothered him that much. But there's really no excuse for this, you know, as a man. Like, you man up, you man the fuck, you know, you man the heck up, you know. So let me see, find some of this video. Crazy. Got this man out here. Hey, this man went from the highest of the highs to the lowest of the lows. And then, like I said, I'm not the type to want to bring the racial element into it. You know, obviously the optics do look bad. A lot of people have already kind of thrown things into question as far as, you know, the way in which that they, you know, publicly put, you know, kind of put on a public style, you know, with a, you know, you're in the dig, you know, with a guillotine. That's what it kind of seeming like, you know, what it's called it, like, gotta watch my words, but it seems like they're kind of publicly, you know, lashing this guy. You know, and like I said, there's no fault other than his own that he's in this situation. But the fact, like, boom, the way they played it out, before he was even charged with the breaking and entering, they put it all out as far as him being canned because he was messing with a staff member. You know, obviously there's moral clauses and things of that nature put into the contract, you know, and things like that. So you can't really be out here diddling the workers, you know, especially not a married man. It's just, it's, you know, it's a weird situation. You know, I don't know what he did on the back channels, maybe losing Ohio State. You know, I do believe that if he would have been better at what he was doing, excuse me, I gotta hit my boy back, but I do think if he was a better coach, then he wouldn't be facing this type of backlash. That's just me. If he'd have beat Ohio State, you know, been more productive, I really think they were just tired of him, and this was one of the ways to get him out. Because, you know, Bill Belichick is a perfect example. He hired the lady. I know he's not married, but what he's done is very unprofessional. You know, it's very uncouth to have this younger lady on the sidelines. He hired her as a staff member. He's diddling her as his girlfriend. It's kind of a conflict of interest. But the situation like this, I guess, due to the fact that he's a married man, they hit him with the Tiger Woods hitting eye. You know, you understand? So it's a tough situation, you know, You gotta have to man up and eat this one, you know, deal with it like a man should, you know. I have no empathy for the man, you know. He's you gonna have to deal with this, you know, deal with his consequences of his actions. Stalking. I'm trying to find some of these court videos. I know Shannon Sharp ain't trying to give no type of advice, man. I know he is not trying to give any type of advice, man. Like, he paid the lady $20 million to shut up. Like, Shannon Sharp, he's just a huge hypocrite, man. But let's see if we can find some of this video of this arraignment.
And simply a whirlwind day, and that's been the word to describe the week as well. Tonight, Sherrone Moore is out of jail and getting ready for his next court date in January, as this entire community and the country locks in, laser focused on the latest scandal in the sports world.
Mr. Moore, could you state your name, please?
Sherrone Moore.
It's a moment described by many as surreal.
It's not surreal to me, because I know how men can be emotional, as you know, overly emotional, you know. And he's not, like I said, the way I've taken it, and just from what I've seen, you know, his interviews, things like that, just sound bites, doesn't seem like a very confident guy. You know, just the way he carries himself, he just seems very gimpish. You know, very gimpish, very simpish, very go along to get along. Very much of a people pleaser, very much of a person who I just don't get I don't see the backbone in him. I see a man that would break into a woman's home and try to make himself the victim. That's basically what he did. He tried to, like, he broke into her home and he tried to play on her feelings and emotions and get her to empathize with him or feel sorry for him, you know, and try to make himself a victim. As a man, that's just such of a low life, just a slug type behavior, bro. Like, you know, just a deplorable, like I said, it's not a good look. as a man. Like, you already took your loss, you took your L. She snitched on you. She corroborated with the institution, Michigan, told them y'all had a relationship. I don't know what happened, whatever fell through. She felt like she had you by the, by the balls. She could just roll over on you as a married man. You were the one that's, obviously she's not. It's crazy how as a married man, she would be the one, he's the one that's demonized. Not the woman that's a home wrecker, the woman that's out here knowingly diddling a married man. It's him that gets all the consequences falling on him. It's crazy to me. That's why I say he's definitely getting publicly embarrassed and publicly shamed and buck broken, as I said. But this is the biggest thing. He's the cause of his own pain. So really, like I said, he put a knife to his neck, talking about my blood's on your hands, all this bull. That's not what, I just can only think and fathom, what are you teaching your kids? What are you teaching these students, these young men at Michigan, at the University of Michigan, one of the higher institutions of college athletic? What are you teaching them? Like, what on the day-to-day? Because if this is your actions, if this is how you handle crisis, I'm just saying, how did you make it to the level of a head coach? I'm just being completely honest. Like, myself, I can't play the game the best. I'm more of a, in this world, like, I would love to be a head coach. You know how many men, like I said, I'm a former Division I football player, linebacker. You know how many men would be biting, chomping at the bit to get an opportunity to even coach at a lower tier institution. I'm talking about HBCU, D2, D3, just to be the head man at junior college. You know how many men would love to get their foot in the door, go through the proper channels, and do what you have to do to ascend to this level of greatness, as far as football coaching goes, positions. That's greatness. You can't deny that. Being a, like I said, use a race car. Usually, being a black head coach at the University of Michigan, you are literally like a shooting star. He was the first black. Like, you are a anomaly, dude. And like, how many people wish they could be in this position to make this type of money doing something that they love, and you crapped it down the toilet over a piece of punani. A mid-chilt looking Caucasoid, to be honest with you. It's disturbing. It's disturbing, man. And I don't, like I said, I feel no empathy for the man. I feel like he's an idiot, to be honest with you. He moves like an idiot. I can't believe he's in charge of 100 plus 80 plus 100 student athletes. I cannot believe that he was able to slip through the cracks with this type of emotional behavior in him, that was in him. Like, I know it's kind of hard to see somebody's character when they put on a front and they're being contrived and saying all the PC things and sound bites that sound perfect for the position. But to me, it's just startling that a guy of this nature could be able to ascend to that level. Like, a guy with this level of self-control would be able to make it to be a head coach at one of the best institutions in college football. It's wild. It's like, like I said, how many guys that just probably wouldn't even get the opportunity just because they're aesthetics. Is what I'm saying. Somebody like me, I got long hair, certain the way in which I talk at times, very flippant, very direct, very to the point. Like I said, I like Urban Meyer. I'm an Urban Meyer type of guy. I'm a Lane Kiffin, laid back sometimes, but I'm also Urban Meyer. I'm a straight to the point type of guy. I'm a Mike Leach type of guy. I'm not no, crying on camera type guy. Like this guy Sherrone is. I'm just I don't, that's just who I am. I'm not that emotional, but the way, it all kind of makes sense when you look at it now from the just a different perspective. It's him crying on camera, just the way he moves as a man. It's like, how is this a leader of men? And it's, I guess it's all coming down now that he's obviously not. He's a guy who couldn't just fathom losing a job and, being publicly shamed, getting the Tiger Woods treatment, as far as, you cheated on your wife, and you got to apologize, and the institution's gonna fire you, and they're gonna put, but to exacerbate the problem by breaking into your mistress's house, your ex-girlfriend's house when you're married. That's crazy. Ex-girlfriend when you're married. When you break into your ex-girlfriend's house, pleading for her sympathy when she's the one who snitched on you, and as they said, and came forward and whistle blew to the university about the whole situation. So why would you go to her house and try to cop pleas with her? It just don't make sense as a man. Like, you messed up, move on. That's how men, you pick up the pieces. Like, you've turned a simple moral behavior issue into a criminal behavior issue. So that's where you lose me, as a man. That's where you lose me completely. Like, You don't do that. You don't break into people's homes. You don't break into, I don't care. You don't do that. And what kind of example are you teaching your own kids? Are you teaching these young men that you're teaching at this university? It's as a man, it's sickening, because now this is going to be the optics. The Michigan State head coach that was fired, relieved of his duties because of a similar situation, these sexual improprieties. It's like, it makes no sense to me that they're just trying to paint all us, darker skinned, men as non-leaders. Oh, there's a lot. I mean, it's just the way in which that it's all framed. It looks bad. Like I said, he's complicit. This is the self-inflicted buck breaking, because if you don't do these crimes, you don't do these times. If you don't do these crimes, if you don't break into her house, this is a lady that already Benedict Arnold you. She already snitched on you. Why would you go to her? She's already turned against you. Why would you go to her for sympathy or to try to, whatever you did? It made no sense. It was just very, non-black of you, to be honest with you, to go there. I'm gonna take my life. It's on your hands. Nigga, you sound like one of the gothic, you know what I'm saying, rock bands or something. Like, what is on your mind, grown a black man? Like, this is just, it's very uncouth. Like, it's very, I can't fathom it. I can't fathom it, man. It's just, I can't fathom it. Not one bit. I see if it's your wife, maybe you would be a little bit more emotional. Maybe you caught her in there in the house doing something wrong. I could understand that a little bit better because you're married to the lady. But this is a mistress. This is a side piece. Why is she getting main attraction treatment as a man? Like, you can't detach from the poo nanny? I don't know. Like I said, just a bad look. Bad look. I don't feel bad for him. Life goes on. I feel like this is the perfect example that folks can use as a learning tool to learn not to be so emotionally charged, to learn who is your real enemy. Just because you laying down, who is your real allies and enemies? Just because you're laying down with her, just because you skeeted in her, raw dog, digger in her, all, don't took her all over Pound Town. That don't mean she love you. That don't mean she has your back. That don't mean she's loyal to you. That don't mean she cares about you. That don't mean she gives a dang about your whole existence. So that's what, men, we got to wake up. Can't be thinking what our fallacies all the damn time. You know what I'm saying? Use your brain. Not, you know what I'm saying? As I said, use the right head. You understand? Not the one between your legs. Because it's like, what kind of sense does this make? And it's just a black stain. You're really just a representation of yourself at the end of the day. But we know how they love to, conflate different situations. And, oh, look at these two prominent men, Michigan State and Michigan Head. They can't handle being in charge. They're not natural leaders. They're, all this, that, and the third. And it's like, I blame the leadership in Michigan for even choosing somebody like this. That's how I'd look at it. Like, that's just me personally. I blame Michigan. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't try to act like everybody's like this. I blame Michigan. Y'all knew what type of guy this guy was, when y'all hired him.
The fired head coach of the storied Michigan football program, previously contracted to earn more than $6 million this year, now on video facing a judge with a type of tension you can feel through your screen. The leader of the Wolverines for 2 seasons, who helped secure a national championship as a key staffer, arraigned on criminal charges after a startling whirlwind ordeal that rocked the sports world and beyond.
This is a felony of home invasion, 3rd degree, misdemeanor stalking, and misdemeanor entry without permission.
Prosecutors say Moore broke into the Ann Arbor area apartment of his ex-girlfriend and executive assistant and wreaked havoc hours after being fired from his high-profile job with cause. Michigan's athletic director saying Moore had an inappropriate relationship that violated school policy.
Barged his way into that.
They found any type of loophole to get him up out of there. Like I said, I don't know what he really did. Because if he would have beat Ohio State, I think he'd be in there. I'm just that petty. I'm that petty, and that's how I think. I really do. They would have protected this man. They had the university took the white gloves off of him and spanked him. You understand? You know what I'm saying? Look at that thumbnail, man. That's what they did to him. Ving Rhames them. You know what I'm saying? Pulp Fiction them. Straight up. Vaseline, man. Like, because the whole thing was supposed to just be a sexual scandal. Let's be honest. Like, the whole thing was not even supposed to take a criminal turn. He caused that on himself. You know what I'm saying? It was just supposed to be a regular old, still a self-inflicted, still a self-imposed butt breaking because you chose to lay down with this lady. Nobody forced you. You know what I'm saying? Nobody put a gun in your head. Nobody's forced you to lay down with this lady, this staff member. You willingly chose, with a wife at home and kids, to lay down with this staff member, and engage in sexual intercourse and all these improprieties. You knew that. You knew it was written into your contract that you can't do things like this. If you give these people any type of ammo and animus to use against it, like they all, I'm sure everybody, it was probably an ongoing thing of everybody knowing, the student, just like Bill Belichick, the student athletes, everybody probably knew he was dealing a staff member. But listen here, as soon as they want to get you on the chopping block, boom, I have a built-in reason why I don't gotta pay you and I can fire you on the spot. And you're the reason and you're the cause of it. Period. So it's definitely something behind it. This was a calculated move by the University of Michigan to save money and to get the guy in who they really, really want to lead this organization going forward. Because this was as they just said, this was what's the guy's name? Harbaugh. This is Harbaugh's guy. You know, they just kind of, you know, they won a natty. They was riding on a high. You know, they probably didn't want to go out and really do their due diligence and hire somebody outside. And I'm sure some of the student athletes kind of already like Sherrone Moore. So they just kind of, boom, gave him the head man position. You know, you don't really see that a lot. You know, it's definitely a rare situation. You don't see that a lot. So, and like I said, he played with it. He played with this position. It's funny how you're so reactionary to be emotional and violent and breaking in this lady's house after the fact. Like, where is your accountability as a man? You know, that's why I lose all respect for Sherrone Moore. Where is your accountability as a man? You know, you did these things. You are the one who did the acts. Deal with it. Have accountability. If you have a shred of accountability, he would have done none of this action. He's out here acting like a straight up child. You know, a straight up puss. Like, he went to her house and tried to break in. What are you gonna do? Reason with her? Like, obviously, if you did what they said you're alleged to do, it sounds like you're just trying to get her sympathy or empathize with you, like you caused it, or make her feel bad. I don't get it. You're living through your emotions like a female. You know, I cannot respect that as a man. I just cannot. You know, and I hope he gets, you know, the full weight of the law put on him. Like I said, I don't feel sorry for him. You know what I'm saying? Just the way the optics, the way it looks as a man, I don't like the representation that you're out here depicting for us, and I don't like the optics of it. Like I said, I hope the full weight of the justice system falls on your back. You know, that's just me. You know, you do the crime, do the time. I feel like you're an idiot, so you know you need to learn a lesson. I feel like it's a lot of steps that he's missed as a man growing up. So maybe the criminal justice system can wake him up and give him those lessons that he missed. You know, you can't just be a YT ass kisser and think that's just gonna get you through your life. You know what I'm saying? These people do not respect you. You know what I'm saying? And now you're waking up and seeing that. I hope you get your Negro reality check today, because I feel like that is just the dumbest, stupid thing that a person could do, in my opinion. Like, what he did made absolutely no sense to me. Absolutely no sense. Like, I have no empathy for it. You know, you're already fired. Move on from there. You know you're already fired. You know they publicly embarrassing you and putting all your information up. Your wife gonna be, you know, up in arms. You're losing your income. You're losing, you know what I'm saying? Your reputation is sullied. Your family, your daughters, your kids is gonna know about it. Your parents, wherever you come from, your family's gonna know about it. You know, Michigan just did a straight up smear campaign as far as just your sexual improprieties. You know, they were just gonna do that and kick you out the back door. You know what I'm saying? Or the front door, whatever you want to do. You know, your car key don't work. You know, you take all your Michigan memorabilia back, give them all your work car back, your work vehicle back, give it all back. You know what I'm saying? And they was gonna say bye bye. You know, they don't want you here no more. And that should have been the end of it. Now let me do a PR campaign. Let me, you know, try to make, you know, a chicken salad out of this as chicken shit situation. Let me try to fix it. You know what I'm saying? Let me try to move forward, and maybe I can get me a assistant job somewhere else, and, you know, hit the old Lane Kiffin. You know, when he's bringing the old toots through for the recruits. He's bringing the toots for the recruits. You know what I did? But maybe you could, you know, hit the hen eye. You know, a lot of folks get a second chance. You know, but especially something so petty as cheating. You know, something like that. Like, it's in the grand scheme of society. You know what I'm saying? When we got Trump and all these guys, they're like alleged to do all this sexual improprieties. We got leaders, everybody. A sexual scandal is really not the worst thing that you can do, especially, you know, two consenting adults, grown ass adults. You know, take the loss. Two grown, you know what I'm saying? Like, I see it for some other ish, you know what I'm saying? Thank the Lord, you know, there wasn't no Sandusky, Penn State craziness scandal going on. Thank the Lord. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, as two consenting grown adults engaging in sexual intercourse, like, really, you know, like Michigan, I'm kind of like disgusted at Michigan for doing this smear campaign on this guy like this. That, you know, that's what the whole thing started off with. But at the same time, I cannot just give this man a pass for the way in which he reacted to getting fired. getting the axe. I can't. Like a child reacts better. You know what I'm saying? To bad news. Like this, it makes no sense. Like you're a child throwing sand in someone's face or something like that. Like they put you in timeout and you throwing chairs around the wall. That's what this literally is. Like where is your emotional control? You know what I'm saying? You find out the news that they about to do this smear campaign and they're about to do this thing and embarrass you to the world nationally about your sexual improprieties and shit and cheating on your wife and infidelities. And this is your reaction. I'm gonna go and bust in her house, get a knife and put it to my arm and my neck, and act like I'm gonna hurt myself, and then my blood's on your hand. Like, who does that? Like as they say, like, whose man is this? Like, where they do that at? You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to True to She. You lost your little snow bunny, get another one. Go to your local bar, get another one. An intelligent man knows not to to poop where he eats at. You know what I'm saying? A smart, intelligent man knows not to do that. You're like, it's just a direct conflict of interest. You losing the bag over, just like Shannon Sharp, y'all losing the bag over some old milk curds, some old spoiled milk. Make it make sense, man. Some old what's that girl name? Dang, Honey Boo Boo. You gonna lose your money over a Honey Boo Boo looking? Come on now. I'm not saying she that bad. But I'm just saying, dog. That's a bad look. Hit that like button if you're out there, man. TNP, hit that like button, subscribe, show some love to your boy, man. I say hit that description box, man. You feel so inclined to show some love on that Cash App. We coming back stronger than ever. True Masculinity Podcast, man. Show us some love. I appreciate y'all tapping in, man. It feels great to be back in this algorithm. You know what I'm saying? Get my voice out here in these streets. But yeah, man, I'm just trying to be a voice of reason, man. I'm just trying to bring a little bit of different perspective to this whole situation. Because it should not have went down how it went down. Sherrone Moore, man, he should definitely be embarrassed. I'm saying, as a man, this is not how you conduct yourself, man. You take your L's, you take your lumps. You take your lumps in life. You know what I'm saying?
Apartment, immediately then proceeded to a kitchen drawer, grabbed several butter knives and a pair of kitchen scissors, and began to threaten his own life. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to make you watch. My blood is on your hands. You ruined my life. And a series of very, very threatening, intimidating, terrifying, quite frankly.
He's a TD, man. I call him Terrell Davises. He's a Terrell Davis. He's a tender dick. Like, that's all. That really explains a lot. Like, when you hear this lady describe the details of this situation, he's a tender dick. She already snitched on you. How you think they got all the information? Why are you going to her pleading for her empathy? There's no way it was that good. No way. Make it make sense, man.
These statements.
Soft left security.
And behaviors there in the apartment.
Prosecutors laid out the very recent decline of a relationship between the staffer and Moore, a married father of 3 girls.
They had.
Boy, you got 3 girls, bro. Ain't that? I got 3 girls, but I got 2 boys as well, man. Makes zero sense why you would terrorize this young lady. Then you already got the pussy. You already got the snatch. You think she love you? Like, this guy's just lost. Like, I'm just saying, as a man, this guy is just embarrassingly lost. He needs to get a clue. He needs to read the room. This lady don't snitch on you. As soon as she didn't call the police when you came in, because she knew you was bluffing, talking about her yourself. She called her lawyer, they said. Then she called the police. She had no, man. Come on, bro. I know blind men that could have seen better than this. They could have seen this one coming. I know guys with no sight that could have seen this one coming, man. I'm just being honest. As a man, you should be embarrassed of yourself, man. Like, you should really be embarrassed of yourself as a man. Like, I don't know how you deal with yourself. I ain't gonna lie to you. And then you didn't even have the guard. Like, she know you a little punk. She know you a little punk sissy, because you ain't even do it. You ain't even hurt yourself. So you know, but a punk, lying, weasel sissy, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy. Like, you're a TD, as I say. You're a Terrell Davis tender dick, man. Now they out here publicly, lambasting you. Putting you over the barrel, and they're gonna have their way with you, man. So hey, that's life, man. You as they say, fuck around, find out. You found out, man. You know what I'm saying? You should have just been happy that you got your little sneaky pinky on. You messed up. As soon as you laid down with her, you were basically choosing her over $6 million a year salary. Yeah, as a man, you should know that. Unless you didn't read your lawyers and your managers, nobody went over the contract with you. Like, make that make sense. Make that make any type of sense. As soon as you lay down with her, you're basically you're giving away $6 million. Make that make any type of sense. Hey, I don't think any man in his right mind would ever take a woman, I don't care who it is, a partner sexually that they not tied to, have no real connection to other than a baby which you tried to get unalived. You didn't want it. You want her to take it to the clinic. So I don't think any man in that right mind would jeopardize making $6 million a year for an old piece of bust down puss. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm tripping. Am I tripping, folks? Hit that like button. Hit that like button out there. Am I tripping? Do you know? I don't know too many men that jeopardize their livelihoods for some old bust down puss. Makes absolutely no sense to me. Like I said, this man, it's kind of a no judgment zone. I'm trying to be cool with it, trying to be understanding, but it's just hard to understand the reasoning and logic behind this situation. Like I said, I'm about to dead it. I'm about to, everybody's beating this situation down with a bat that's over with. You know what I'm saying? Sephora. Is this now? Let's see. Make sure. Hey, excuse me. You the one need to be let in? Where's Sephora? Oh, I'm the security officer. Trying to let the lady in. Trying to let the lady in. I don't know what I'm doing. Make it make sense, though, brothers and sisters, man. Make it make any type of sense, man. This man gonna sacrifice one of the highest paying jobs in college football for some old bust down, used up puss, man. I don't know too many men that's gonna make that change. And then now you risking your livelihood for some old bust down, used up puss. You're jeopardizing your freedom for a lady that's really trying to make a come up off of you. She don't care nothing about you. She literally put the law on you, and she probably will still have a job. Because if they fire her, she probably has grounds to sue. If Michigan fires her, she probably has grounds to sue them civilly. But what grounds do you have? You messed up. It's over with. So yeah, just a wake up call for folks, man. It's just a huge wake up call for folks, man. And we really need it. A lot of folks really need it. They need this wake up call. They be honest with themselves. People being all the way 100 with themselves. They know we need it. They know this man needed his wake up call. You know what I'm saying? He's walking on eggshell for too long, man. But like I said, man, TNP, man. Hey, hit that like button, subscribe, man. We out at 5,000. Appreciate y'all tapping in with me this morning. Got my point across. You know what I'm saying? Try to be as provocative, entertaining as I can, man. Appreciate y'all tapping in with me this morning. We got more content coming. Like I said, man, y'all have a beautiful, blessed morning, and peace and blessings, man.